The best of the best going head-to-head in the birth of the UFL. Let's ball out, baby! Y'all ready?
Oh, ball is out! Game-changing hit.
He's got a man downfield. Touchdown!
All about the offense now.
The shift, the back.
Zigging and zagging into the end zone. This is the UFL. Lofts it downfield, and it's caught. It's mayhem. Woo!
Did we get the tippy toe? Yes.
64-yard try. Good! A star is born in the UFL.
Wow, record 64-yard field goal at Ford Field up in Detroit. Jake Bates, what did you think of that kick?
It's just, I mean, it seems like the kicking game is just getting stronger and stronger, both in college as well now on a professional level. So I'm sure he'll be someone that everybody's looking at with the new rule changes to the NFL as an opportunity for him to be a kickoff specialist and even possibly a field goal kicker for him.
So Jake Bates is why I watch this. UFL is not only just fun football, but diamonds in the rough. Diamonds to be mined by the NFL, such as, obviously, Cavante Turpin for my Cowboys was the MVP as a receiver of the USFL. And then Brandon Aubrey, now a Pro Bowl kicker for my Cowboys, was in the USFL because he hadn't kicked at all. He's more of a soccer player from Notre Dame. And this kid, Jake Bates, had never tried a field goal before in college football because he was just a kickoff specialist. But he made first-team All-SEC at Arkansas kicking off. And now with our new format, the old XFL format on our kickoffs, the antidote to the house return that will be more prevalent is the bomb kickoff that just goes completely out of the back of the end zone.
See, the NFL, in my opinion, should try to acquire the UFL. They should try to and turn it into like a minor league farm system type deal. You know, every player that plays in this is not going to get an opportunity to play in the NFL. But there's going to be a handful of guys, just like in Major League Baseball or in the NBA, in the G League, every player is not going to play in the NBA, and every player in the minor league system isn't going to play in the majors.
Absolutely not.
But there's going to be guys as the development stages go on that is going to be able to contribute to teams, and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, oh my God, okay, this guy can help us win. I think they should do that though, because it's not a threat to them. It's not a threat to no one can threaten. No football league is going to threaten the NFL. You know, not one. It's here to stay. How many times have we seen spring leagues come and go? That's why I just think the NFL should really they got more money than God. Just spend a little bit of it, acquire this league, and develop players.
All right. Like it. UFL continues on Fox. It's 4 Eastern Sunday with Roughnecks and Defenders. Okay, speaking of the NFL, this was surprising and interesting. Adam Schefter reports the Texans have reworked Stefon Diggs' contract. Bear with me on this. They've removed the final 3 years of Diggs' current contract. They'd have allowed him to become a free agent after next season. Houston also took his $3.5 million in guaranteed money in 2025 and moved it up a year to 2024. So that gives him a guaranteed total this coming year of $22.5 million. Pretty good payday. Diggs was originally under contract through 2027 because of a 4-year, $96 million extension that he signed with the Bills back in 2022. That included $70 million in guaranteed money. So the Texans did give up a second-round pick in 2025 for Diggs, who will now be able to hit free agency in 2025. So, Keyshawn, what does this reworking of Diggs' deal say about him and about the Texans?
Well, one, whenever you're traded to a team and there's compensation given at a certain level, the team is going to address your contract situation. May extend you. They're going to rework it to some degree.
I wondered if this was agreed upon before the trade was agreed upon.
Yeah, it usually is. Yeah, it's usually agreed upon. I know you're trading for me. We've got to do something to get the deal done. We agree in principle. Once the trade goes through, here's what we're going to do. And that's most likely with Stefon Diggs, that's what happened. He knew going to the Texans. This is what was going to be the number. They're going to take the 3.5 that's left in my guaranteed money off the 2025 portion of the contract. They're going to bring it forward. They're going to push me up to where I need to be from a guaranteed money standpoint in line with other top receivers. Because if you take out the $3 million, he's down now. There's other people. He's not as close to Tyreek and Devontae Adams and other guys that make this type of money. So you give him that $3 million, you push him up. You, as an organization, you get the best of both worlds, right? You get an opportunity to now have a motivated player that is going to be motivated to not necessarily do all the right things, because that's what people are going to say. Oh, he's going to do all the right things. Yeah. I'm not talking about doing all the right things. Just motivated to go out there and put his best foot forward and on his best behavior, as I would say, on the field to help a young player in C.J. Stroud excel. Now, you as an organization have a decision to make at the end of the year. If he lives up to the expectations of what you see, you don't mind saying, we're going to give you 35 a year and we're going to give you $100 million guaranteed. Or you say, here's your market. Your market isn't where it should be. Well, coach, I barely got here. I don't know any of this. You only caught X amount of passes. You only scored this amount of touchdowns. We giving you a lot of opportunity. So he's taking a chance, but so are they. Because the second-round pick is a lot to not have a guy in place with a contract. But you also probably can still franchise tag him and then talk to him during the franchise tag moment. It's a win-win for both sides. I think he will help elevate C.J. Stroud to a whole nother level.
I agree.
Same kind of way he did with Josh Allen.
You can make a case.
You know, and you say, well, why would you not want to keep the 3 years intact if you are Stefon Diggs? Ain't no guaranteed money. That doesn't mean anything. They can cut me. I don't have any guaranteed money. So if you cut me versus letting me walk, you give people the notion that I'm no good. If I leave in free agency because it didn't work out and I still had a good year, people could watch the film and say, oh, he still had an 1,100-yard season on 75 catches. He still scored 8 touchdowns. They only threw him the ball 30% of the time. All of those type of arguments are there for him, okay? They didn't trade for him to fail him. They traded for him to take them to the next level. This is the reason I got him sitting at number 2 in the AFC Conference as of now, right behind Kansas City, slightly in front of Baltimore.
All right, I hear everything you just said, but I'm still a little surprised that Stefon would give up the security of the 3 years, even though you say you could cut him, but at least the salaries are in place if you want to keep him, keep him,
but
right?
It's not guaranteed.
No, it's not guaranteed, except year to year. If you're going to keep me, you're going to have to pay me X and Y and Z.
Yeah, but you're not going to have to pay me until I make the 53-man roster, which is from the start of the league year, which is typically, I think, at the end of February or the beginning of March, until September opening day roster. So you still holding me up from March to opening day roster. You can do anything with me, okay? After free agency, you can cut me, and now I'm out in the streets butt naked.
Okay.
I don't want that for myself.
So the Texans greatly lessened their risk here because there's no long-term risk with Stefon Diggs. Is he going to work for us or not? It's a one-shot deal. It's a one-year deal. And then with Stefon, he'll be 31 going on 32. He can hit the open market. And if you have a 1,000-yard, 1,200-yard year, whatever, you could be good to go. But
yeah, but if he has the type of year that they anticipate him having, they're going to keep him
they will try.
And pay him.
Unless he hits the lottery and he goes out on the market and finds somebody else who will pay him $40 million. I don't know.
Usually when you're in these type of situations, you're not looking for, you know, if your team, much like a Baker Mayfield situation, if your team is willing to give you a certain number, you're happy. Because you don't want to just be moving around, chasing the money. He doesn't need to do that. The kid that made a ton of money, he's chasing winning a championship to solidify who he is as a player.
Yeah, I do like it, and I agree with you. It's a win-win because he still gets 22.5 this coming year, which is pretty good. Again,
yeah, he was going to get 22. See, okay, look at it this way, Skip. He was going to get the 22.5 regardless in a 12-month calendar year.
But they moved it.
They just gave it to him 9 months early.
Yep,
he was going to
did.
get it anyway because it's guaranteed on the 2025 salary, only $3.5 million of that. So they said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give it to you on your last guaranteed season. We're going to raise that number up to 22.5 million.
Yep.
We're going to allow that to take place. So you essentially are on a one-year deal because those other 3 years, they're voidable. That means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It's just fluff years on the back end of something.
But the Buffalo Bills gave him in 2022 $70 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
That is why Buffalo just had to eat $30 million in dead cap money. That's how badly they wanted to get out from under Stefon. We'll eat that. And you got that from us, but thank you very much and good riddance. We're onward and upward because they're going to choose their quarterback, and they think their quarterback was more important than their receiver. And you had no problem with that.
Not
and
at
you
all.
think it's sort of win-win for both teams
Yes,
to start
absolutely.
over.
I don't want to be here anyway. I don't want to play with him. We've been dancing around in circles for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So move me. You can have your quarterback, see what life is going to be without me, and then talk to me then. And that was his approach.
Yeah.
Talk to me when the year is over with. Let's see who goes further. Let's see if Buffalo is in the same position as the Houston Texans when the season ends. I doubt it. That's just me. I doubt it because you got Miami, the New York Jets, which is fully stocked now.
Yep.
All they got to do is just stay healthy. And let's see if Buffalo, let's see what Buffalo is.
Okay. You know Brandon Beane. Listen, I was watching him yesterday in his little press session he did. He was almost angry, committed, like, watch this, watch what we do, because we are very competitive here, and they have been a very good organization. I'm not sure they can replace Stefon Diggs immediately, but over time, they think they'll be a little better off, their chemistry, their unity.
That may be true.
Yep.
But nobody's talking about in the future.
No.
They're talking about right now.
There's no doubt.
Buffalo Bill fans, they don't want to talk about 2028. They want to talk about 2024. Where are we going to be in September 24, and where are we going to be in January 25?
Okay.
Are we going to be at home, or are we going to be in an AFC Championship game? Like, what are we doing here?
Okay. But I'm going to remind you again, Tyreek fetched from Miami a first, a second, what was it, 2 fourths and a sixth?
It was a
was
lot.
like ridiculous
Yeah,
haul.
but that's Miami.
Okay.
Miami was willing to give that up because they needed
and pay him.
And pay him because that's what they wanted. They were looking for that type of player.
Yeah.
Okay, they had Jalen Waddle, but they wanted to. Their whole mission was speed kills, and if we can put a track meet on the field, nobody will be able to stay with us.
Okay.
Well, that happened for a little bit. They were a high-flying scoring machine, but they couldn't stop anybody.
No.
And then when the weather turned, they couldn't do certain things when the weather turned. Tyreek Hill is phenomenal, and you point to Stefon Diggs not being able to get the same compensation in return. Well, I'm not going to give you the same compensation in return because, one, I don't have to have him. Number two, you don't really want him. So if I know you don't really want him.
And obviously, Brandon Beane talked to a whole bunch of teams other than the Texans,
yes,
right?
And I already know you don't really want him. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you a 3.
Okay.
Oh, no, I don't want a 3. I'll take a 2. Tell you what, I'll give you a 2, plus I'll send Stefon to you and a 6th rounder and a 5th rounder in this year and next year's draft, and you just give us back a 2.
Whew. Whew.
That's a good trade.
And Davante Adams goes to the Raiders, and Green Bay gets back a 1st and a 2nd. That's a haul, man. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay.
But the Raiders, in that particular crew, I think it was Josh McDaniels, and I can't even think of the general, Ziegler or whatever, the general manager. That's what they wanted, so they gave that up. They were able to get that.
Yeah.
Where other teams probably was like, we're not giving up a 1 for Davante Adams. But they did, and they gave him a new deal because that's what they wanted.
Okay, do I think Stefon's on the same level as Tyreek and Davante Adams? I do not. Is he in the next tier of receivers? Yes.
But see, the next tier would be 6 on down. I see him in the top 5 for sure. I see him in the top 5 for sure. You got a CeeDee Lamb, you got a Davante Adams, you got a Tyreek Hill, a healthy Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase. I mean, they're all kind of.
Ayuk is somewhere up there.
No, he's not. He's not them yet. No. Those dudes. He's there. It's the flavor. What do you like? Right? He's in that mix, but he hasn't done it consistently as long as those guys have. Okay, Justin Jefferson hadn't slowed down till he got hurt. Okay, no. Jamar Chase hadn't slowed down till he got hurt.
True.
Or his quarterback got hurt. Better yet. Other than that, those guys have been consistent as long as possible. Ayuk really he had a nice 1,000-yard season a year ago, but he just finally really come into his own this past season where you look at him, you go, I think we could do something with him.
Yeah, exactly. You know? All I know for sure is the Houston Texans fandom is on fire right now because they got Stefon Diggs.
They should be.
All I know is the locker room has to be on fire with excitement and anticipation because, wait, we got him?
Man, it's all about your environment and your culture.
Yep.
Okay? He was in Buffalo. His personality and who he is, that may not be for Buffalo.
No, it's not.
It's
not.
I agree. You see what I'm saying?
Totally agree.
He's in Houston, Texans. Okay? He got an ex-player as his head coach who understands his personality. Okay? With a whole bunch of brothers.
True.
That, they get it.
That is true.
It's just, they welcome that. They welcome that type of attitude where everything isn't a pushback every time you say something.
You know, Sean McDermott is old school. And
it's different. It's not a bad person. I like Sean. And I love Brandon. But in the end, certain players' personalities only fit certain places. You know, because that's how it is. It's so many different religions and cultures and backgrounds in a locker room. That's why a locker room is the best place on earth. People don't really even understand that. You learn a lot about a lot of different people. But at the same time, in certain sections of our country, certain things are tolerated or looked at differently. That's just the way it is, whether it's sports or not.
Houston's a great town.
If for him, oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what? It is tropical. The sort of the climate is tropical. It stays pretty warm all year. So he's going to love the difference in Houston.
And he's
been in Minnesota and Buffalo.
They're young and they're exciting and they got that snack, crackle, pop and a lot of swag on their team. He falls right in the line with them.
Way to go. All right. Win. Okay, we got breaking news next. Bronny James, no surprise to me, has declared for the NBA draft, and we react.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.